All right, welcome back into the show. So we've got Property of the Week time now with our mates at Property Brokers, of course. I'm joined by a couple of lads today. One is Kevin Carian, Commercial Sales Consultant at Property Brokers. G'day, Kevin.
G'day, Dom. How you going?
I'm good. And you've got a gentleman who's reasonably well known beside you there in the form of Davey Hughes, responsible for that wonderful brand, iconic brand, Swazi. How are you, Davey?
Great, thank you.
Excellent. Good to have you both on the program. Now, firstly, tell us about the property of the week that we've got this week. It's one with a bit of a unique twist, right, Kevin?
Oh, absolutely. It's the property address is 94 Oxford Street, Levin. It's on the busy State Highway 1, which goes, from the North Island all the way down through Levin down to Wellington. And, it's a really nice spot, very busy site. The zoning of the property is commercial. And it houses head office for Swazi, and it also has all their area of the warehouse. They have a whole lot of areas that do various different things like manufacturing, all of the office area. It's 2 levels, and you've got good access out the back. It's on 3 titles, and you've got a massive car park outside. So, no, it lays very well for the business, and it's easy to get around.
All right, so Davey, so what's the story behind it?
I guess if you went back a year to when we changed our business model and we started to actually import some of our more simple garments, that's worked extremely well for us. And so much so that the board has said, with all this extra, gain and profitability and turnover, we've got to run with it. And part of that is we're going to have to invest in more stock. So that's one side of it. The other side of it is we've been doing a lot of research into what we can do with wool. So obviously, you've got the fine wool, the merino, which has been, for New Zealand, it's been a huge boom across the world. But we were more interested in the strong wool and what could we do with the strong wool. Typically, it gets made into a carpet. Well, what if we could do something with that wool, and particularly the way that it was being spun, and then start to create garments that would have a global appeal? Because I think, if you look at the farm gate, see what the return is, on a kilo of wool, it's hardly worth sharing it. So, part of what we want to do is obviously sell wool, but also to help raise what farmers are getting at the farm gate.
Yeah, you're right. It is in a dire situation, and I don't think there's any secret that that's the case with strong wool at the moment. They've got the action group now, which is good. Hopefully, they can sort of kickstart things, a bit of impetus into the sector. But do you genuinely see a future, and the farmers, as you say, might be even worth sharing the sheep to actually to get the wool off?
I mean, let's face it. It's a natural fibre. It's got so many inherent properties that none of the other fibres out there, especially synthetics, have. So if we can, and we've actually nailed it what we want to do with the strong wool. So the next part of this project is actually we've invested heavily into research. Now we have to take the bull by the horns, as to say, and invest into stock. And that's going to be a major undertaking for the company over the next 5 years. And hence, again, the board's saying, well, let's free up some capital and let's do that with selling the building.
So hence the property comes into the conversation. Again, tell me what sort of people might be interested in a property like this, guys?
Well, it would suit all sorts of types of people, like, farmers that have sold up their farms and looking for off-farm investment, farmers, again, that don't want to keep all their eggs in one basket, that want some sort of investment off-farm where it's got a good return. The biggest problem that we suffer at the moment is plummeting interest rates, and, with some of the returns getting down to around that 2% area, when you can buy a commercial investment like this and you don't have to manage it yourself. Property brokers also manage commercial investments, and it just takes the trouble out of it, and you can get 6+% return on it. So, it goes with a wide range of investments. And the other thing that we do is a syndication option. So if you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, you can be part of a syndicate. And we're doing a lot more syndicates now that the interest rates are coming down.
And I've got to ask you guys, what's the interest been like so far?
Look, it's been fantastic. It's we've had it on the market. We're into our third week. We've had a lot of interest, and a big part of that is obviously with Davey being the tenant. It's a big building. It's 2,882 square metres, which is a big building, and Davey houses that whole area with its manufacturing as well. And we've got people looking at it from all sorts of different angles, but the rental income on it is 168,750 net. And what net means is the tenant pays all the outgoing costs like rates and insurance. And Davey's going to sign a 10-year lease from possession date. Possession date is the handover date of the sale. So it's a good investment for a long-term investor.
I can imagine there'll be a bit of interest there. Davey, who do you reckon would suit going into a place like this? What do you reckon? If you were to say you'd be suited, you wouldn't be suited, what are your thoughts?
I mean, obviously we would like to have a landlord who is not just sitting back and taking, the money from the rent. I think, it'd be fantastic if we could have a landlord that, took a bit of interest in what we did. Almost, it was a partnership. Whether or not that's going to be possible, I'm not too sure. We all hope for the best with a landlord that we can have a bit of fun with along the way as well.
So what else do we need to know about the property, guys? What else do you think people might be interested in finding out?
Well, the property's been well maintained over the years. Like, any time that there's any maintenance needed doing on the property, Davey's stepped up. Like, you've re-roofed it, you've spent a lot of money on it throughout. One of the big things that I've already mentioned is the NBS rating. Like, the minimum NBS rating for a lot of banks now is 67%, and NBS is the earthquake strength of the building. Well, being at 71, it's above that, and that makes it a good investment. You don't have to spend money strengthening, and a lot of properties that you buy today, you have to strengthen it, which reduces your net income out of it. But it's a sound property, and the other thing that's quite important to have in a property these days, it's got a full sprinkler system upstairs and downstairs, and it's a requirement of all new buildings, but a lot of existing buildings don't have a full sprinkler system, and I think that's a real bonus. It's a well worth viewing property. And a really
so the infrastructure's there. Yeah, the infrastructure's there, which is good. Davey, it's been a heck of a year, hasn't it, for everybody? How's it been for you, 2020?
Again, having changed our model a few years ago, was that me being smart, or was it just really at the end of the day a bit of luck? In as much as that, we're selling so much product online globally, our online sales during the lockdown, they trebled. It blew us away. And since then, subsequently, since, we've all gone back to work, the internet and online sales, they've kept tempo. So, it's, dare I say it, because a lot of people are suffering, we've had a great year.
Okay, so there you have it. The Swazi brand's still going pretty strong. Yeah, you're happy with where things are? Yeah, very happy. Next year, our production's booked out right until June of next year. So even if we have people coming in and wanting garments, it's like you'll have to wait until after June before we can start making them. Yeah, right. Okay, so it's a no-brainer for people that are in a position to be able to invest in this particular property for a number of obvious reasons. Details, Kevin, about where people can find out more information? Well, they can either look on the property broker's website, which will have my contact details, or they can phone me on 06 353 1319, or they can email me at kevin.carian, that's CARIAN, @pb.co.nz. And I can. Good stuff. And what's the plan for Christmas, Davey? What are you up to? I'm heading down to the Marlborough Sounds to kill wilding pines on my block down there. Nice. So hopefully in between doing that, I'll sneak out on the boat and catch a personal best snapper. Good stuff. All the best with the snapper, and you'll clearly have a nice big Christmas tree as well. Davey Hughes, Kevin Carian, great to have you on the program this week. Cheers. Thank you.